Hello everyone and welcome to Joku Productions. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host Joku, and as always, follow me on my social media accounts. That's where I'll be previewing future videos, taking topic suggestions, and talking about the culture, so do not miss out, okay? So today we are going back to the dungeon for another OutKast video. We've covered a lot of the Dungeon Family's material on this page, so if you haven't checked them out, please do so. But today we are going to drive down memory lane and pick apart OutKast's catalog. So tell me, what is your favorite OutKast album? ATLiens, Stankonia? It's so much to choose from, and in my opinion, they never put out a whack album, ever. Yet at the same time, there are still certain albums that we may like more than others. And that leads to today's video as we rank OutKast's albums from worst to best. As always, do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a video, okay? Now, join me as we rank OutKast's albums. Let's get started. All right. I'm going to get this list started by ranking Idlewild at the bottom spot. I remember when this album came out days after my birthday in 2005 or 2006 and getting it autographed near Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta, Georgia days later. The singles include classics such as The Mighty O, Morris Brown, and of course Hollywood Divorce. Even though this was OutKast's sixth album, you can still tell that they were not done growing as artists. To me, that was just amazing. As good as this album was, though, there were still some things that can be taken away from it. The first thing was that Big and Dre weren't on enough songs together, in my opinion. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The only songs that they were on together were The Mighty O, Hollywood Divorce, and PJ and Rooster. Now, I could be wrong, but 3 songs? Come on, man. Also, the songs that I really enjoyed just didn't seem long enough. A more extended version of Chronometrophobia or Life is a Musical would have did it for me. But overall, a great album. If you haven't checked it out, please be a good OutKast fan and go check that out. For the next album on the list, I'm going to have to select Speaker Box Love Below. I know more than a few people may disagree with me because of how important this album was to the culture of hip-hop and the barriers it tore down due to its crossover ability. It went diamond. It won Best Album at the Grammys, which is still the only hip-hop album to do so, unless you consider the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill a hip-hop album.
This is crazy because this is hip-hop music, and you know what I mean? It's like...
Okay. But although these are all true, I don't think the OG OutKast fans were ready to hear Andre, who we consider arguably the best rapper of all time, to barely rap on a project after giving us classic verses on Stankonia. Not to take anything away from songs like Hey Ya and Prototype, which I'll probably play at my wedding one day, but it took a while for us to get over the artistic switch up. Yet when we did, we'd all agree that it was absolutely a classic album. Big Boy delivered on Speaker Box with songs like Bow Tie and my personal favorite, Reset. It was just weird to once again not hear them on songs together, especially for the first time being that it was a double disc album. Overall, still a great project to say the least. Let's move on. The next album on this list is OutKast's debut album, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. Another very important album for hip-hop as OutKast introduces Southern rap to the world on a wider platform. I must say that personally, this is my favorite version of Big Boy with verses he gave us such as Hootie Hoo and Claimin' True. Andre, of course, delivered as well, and as always, it's just that they were so young and still developing as artists. Organized Noise was yet to relinquish full creative control to Dre and Big, which meant that they were not able to flow in their natural creative habitat, you know what I mean? Plus, we all love Dre with that Badu effect on him, which leads to our top 3 albums. Number 3 on the list is Stankonia. Now, creatively and visually, everything about Stankonia is mind-blowing. This was when Andre was at the peak of his daring artistic style, while simultaneously cementing himself as an all-time hip-hop great. And Big Boy was right with him with daring style of his own and some of the best verses, which we will do a list on later this year, okay? So stay tuned. Not only that, but the interludes were incredibly funny. If I had to take anything away from this album, I guess I'll say it's a little lengthy. it's a little long, but I may feel obligated to skip a track to get to my favorites, but most of them are my favorites, so that's a very, very small problem to a very, very excellent album. Stankonia, number 3. Number 2 is the first rap album that I ever fell in love with, ATLiens. I'm from East Point, Georgia, and never had more pride in my city until I heard this album. The sounds of this album embodies the vibe of the city, and I love it. And yes, we are now introduced to the deep, artistic Andre that we all love today. His verse on Elevators literally changed my life. Hearing him rap about streets that I literally drive on every day and rap it in a way that was superior to other artists inspired me in a way that no one can fathom. We also got more of a vulnerable big boy, giving us verses with a sensitive subject matter about his personal life, which is something that we all can appreciate from our artists. Also, this is my favorite OutKast's album when it comes to production, giving us those out-of-this-world type beats, and in my opinion, arguably the greatest hip-hop intro of all time.
You can be sure some go low to get high. You may hurt till you cry. You may die.
One of the greatest albums of all time, ATLiens. Now let's go to our top spot. Finally, we arrive at OutKast's best album, which is Aquemini. Where Andre said,
"The South got something to say, that's all I got to say."
This album is what he meant. What I love most about this album is that it's not so experimental that it's distracting, yet it's not so traditional that it sounds like everything else or lacks risk. It is a perfect balance. Musically and lyrically, it's just so far ahead of its time. Just listen to the song Aquemini. Both Andre and Big Boy gave us arguably their best verses, and the production was so unique and majestic and in sync with their flow that it stands out in the best way possible. And that's the same for every song on this album. You can play this album from front to back literally and not skip one single song. Aquemini is easily OutKast's greatest project ever and easily one of the greatest albums in hip-hop history. Okay? Number 1, Aquemini. So there you have it, people. That is our list. I hope you enjoyed it, and please do not forget to comment and let us know what you agreed or disagreed with, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? See y'all next time.